The official story was simple. Giuliano was killed, case closed. But the people didn't believe it. Something felt wrong. The body, the story, the silence. Rumors began to spread. Some said he was betrayed. Others said it was planned. And then, the truth started to come out. Pisciotta later claimed that powerful people had used Giuliano, and when he was no longer needed, they got rid of him. Before he could reveal everything, he died, poisoned. And with him, the truth disappeared. To this day, no one knows what really happened. Was Giuliano a hero, a criminal, or just a man caught in a game much bigger than himself? No, his story remains a mystery. But the real story was only just beginning. While everyone believed Giuliano was just a bandit, something much bigger was happening behind the scenes. Sicily after the war was unstable. Power was weak. People were angry. It was the perfect place for influence. And then, new players entered the game. Politicians, military figures, hidden forces. Giuliano was no longer just a criminal. He became a tool. Weapons reached him. Information reached him. Sometimes, even protection reached him. But there was one question no one could answer. Did he understand what was happening? Or did he believe he was in control? With every passing day, he became more powerful, but at the same time, more dangerous. Even to those who supported him, the hunt became something else. Not an operation, a war. Thousands of soldiers, roadblocks, search patrols, ambushes in the mountains. But Giuliano was always one step ahead. Someone was warning him. Someone was leaking information. And every time they got close, he disappeared. Like a shadow, like smoke. This made the authorities furious. It made people afraid. And it made him a legend. But inside, he was changing. The pressure was constant. The danger never stopped. There was no rest. And slowly, doubt began to grow. His group was no longer the same. Once they were loyal, now they were afraid. Some wanted to leave, some wanted to survive, some were already thinking about betrayal. And Giuliano could feel it. He became more suspicious, more aggressive, more unpredictable. Mistakes started to happen. Decisions became riskier. And slowly, his empire began to collapse from within. Because the greatest threat to power is never the enemy. It is the people closest to you. The mountains of Sicily became his home, but Giuliano did not hide like other criminals. He took control. Villagers began to see him differently, not as a killer, but as a protector. He helped the poor. He shared food. He gave money to families in need. And slowly, people started to believe in him. Stories spread across Sicily. They said he could not be caught. They said he disappeared like smoke. They said he was chosen by fate. A myth was born. Soon he built a group around him, men who trusted him, men who followed him, men who were ready to die for him. But power never comes alone. It always brings attention. Sicily was changing. There were talks of independence, a movement to break away from Italy, and Giuliano became part of it. Not just as a fighter, but as a symbol. To some, he was a hero. To others, he was dangerous. And without realizing it, he was walking into something much bigger than himself. As Giuliano became more powerful, his enemies grew stronger. The government wanted him gone. They sent soldiers, police, entire units to hunt him. But they failed again and again. So they changed their strategy. If they couldn't destroy the man, they would destroy his reputation. And then came a day that changed everything. A peaceful gathering, families, workers, ordinary people. And suddenly, gunfire. People fell, men, women, even children. The event shocked the entire country, and one name was blamed. Salvatore Giuliano. Was he responsible, or was he used? Even today, no one knows the truth. But after that day, everything changed. People began to fear him. Support disappeared. Trust was gone. When inside his own group, something dangerous started to grow. Doubt. By 1950, the legend was fading. Giuliano was tired, always watching, always hiding, always expecting betrayal. And then, it happened. The betrayal came from the one person he trusted the most, his closest friend, his right-hand man, Gaspare Pisciotta. He knew everything, every secret, every hiding place, every weakness. One night, while Giuliano was sleeping, shots were fired, and just like that, the legend ended. Or at least, that's what they said. Today I'm going to tell you a story that most people have never heard. A story about power, betrayal, and a man who became a legend. This is not just a story about a criminal. This is the story of a man who was called a hero, a killer, and a ghost. His name was Salvatore Giuliano, and his life was stranger than fiction. In the dry hills of Sicily, where the wind carries whispers of blood and betrayal, a legend was born. But he was not always a legend. He was just a boy from the small town of Montelepre, a place where poverty was not temporary, it was inherited. Salvatore was born in 1922 into a poor family struggling to survive. There was never enough food, never enough work, never enough hope. But even as a child, he was different. He was proud, he was fearless, and he refused to accept the life he was given. By the time he turned 20, the world was at war. Sicily had become a dangerous place during World War II. Food was scarce, people were starving, and Salvatore made a decision that would change everything. He became a smuggler, not for power, not for fame, but to feed his family. He secretly transported wheat through the mountains, risking his life every night. But in Sicily, secrets don't stay hidden for long. One day, everything went wrong. Police stopped him. What happened next is still unclear. Some say it was self-defense. Others say it was anger. But one thing is certain, a police officer died that day. And in that moment, everything changed. Salvatore Giuliano was no longer just a poor young man. He became a fugitive. He ran into the mountains, into the darkness, into a life he could never escape. And that was the beginning of a legend.